They have to be handled.
So you guys meet at a pre-town, a week. Still,
Good evening. This is the meeting of the Templeton Advisory Committee. The hour being 6:30, I'd like to call the meeting to order. The Templeton Advisory Committee regular business is being broadcast live on TCTV Channel 8 and the TCTV YouTube channel. Responses will be made to comments in the TCTV YouTube channel as time permits. The agenda and meeting materials for this business meeting were posted to mytowngovernment.org/01468 no later than 48 hours prior to the scheduled meeting in accordance with Commonwealth of Massachusetts open meeting laws. The chair reserves the right to add items to, remove items from, or change the order of the agenda. However, the agenda is posted in advance to give the committee and the public time to review the agenda items and to ensure the meeting runs within the allotted time frame. At this time, if you can join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, is there anybody from the public who would like to make any comments? There being none, I will go on to approval of the September 18th, 2025 minutes. Have all the members had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the September 18th, 2025 meeting minutes.
And I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? There being none, I'll call the roll. Bev?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Yeah, I also vote yes. The minutes are approved. I have prepared an advisory fiscal year 2025 annual report, which will be due soon. I also had notes in the comments. I did have to remove April because she was not actually a member during fiscal year 2025. I had to make that change.
April and me.
Both of us.
Oh, both. That's okay.
Yeah, I never added you because I
Okay.
knew that you weren't
Okay.
a member
all.
within that.
Sounds like a plan.
But, ordinarily in the past, the chairperson has just, submitted it. I did circulate it and ask all of you about it, as a courtesy, and I hope that it meets with your approval. Does any member wish to change it or discuss it further?
No, my only recommendation here would be,
The format,
yeah,
that'll work on.
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
that'll be worked on.
You
It's
need
not
to-
gonna come. It's not gonna appear in the annual report.
That's
like that.
okay. If you need assistance with the formatting, just reach out, let me know.
I did meet the new town administrator's assistant, Jill Blood, and I've talked with her about that already.
All right, great.
All right, is there any further discussion? Okay, at this time, I would ask for a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 annual report.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, I'll call this to a vote. Bev?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Jacqueline?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome Bob Sosek. Thank you for coming here tonight. Is Mr. Curtis also?
Yeah, he's online.
It's online.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Okay, so he can
Okay,
talk
thank
about it.
you.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to come up?
Do you want me to talk in regards to this?
Yeah, what I'll do, what I will do. I think, try to help you out a little bit. First of all, thank you both for coming tonight. I think the basic, I like to try to kind of frame the discussion. I think that would be helpful is and I guess the first question that I think myself and other members of advisory are interested in is if this is a proper expense within the Department of Public Services budget. And then are there other expenses? The second question would be, are there other expenses between departments that you are aware of, or is this kind of like a one-off kind of thing? And then the third question would be, this is directed at Mr. Curtis, but I think also Mr. Sosek would help us, is should Mr. Curtis or Emergency Services have a budget? It appears in looking at the last annual report that Mr. Curtis did not have a budget other than stipends. And when I looked a couple of fiscal years ago, fiscal year 2023, it appeared that he had a budget, I believe, of about $1,750. So that would be the third question. And then I guess the fourth and final question would be, should advisory recommend any policy changes as far as transfers of money between departments? So what I would like to do is I'd like to give you the chance to speak first, and then after you speak, I would open it up to questions by the members. I think April, you indicated you had an interest, but any member who wishes to question Mr. Sosek or Mr. Curtis, and then I saw your hand up.
Just for clarification.
Yes.
Can you explain what you're talking about?
That's.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
well,
was
yeah,
gonna
well,
do.
yeah, they'll come forward. I'll give you the chance, Mrs. Sosek, to go first.
Where we are on the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, where we are on the agenda. I asked Mr. Sosek first. It's an item towards the bottom of the agenda, but I don't
13.
I don't want to go through 12 other items and have Mrs. Sosek, after working all day, be here all night.
Well, if I can have the floor for a little bit.
Sure.
I really didn't want to start the meeting out this way. But it's been bothering me and it's been bothering somebody else. One of your board members pretty much came out at the last meeting and directly called me and Rich a liar. That hurts. You have many dedicated employees here, and two of them are here tonight. I wouldn't even think about doing anything wrong in this town. There's so many eyes and ears around here. I wouldn't even put my name on. I was brought up with a good name and a proud name. And I'm not going to have this town take me down. It's very upsetting. And I think you should do a public apology. This town is belittling all their good department heads. They say stuff they shouldn't say. If there's a problem, my door's always open. Any of you guys, any of the select board, any committee, come on in, call, email, work with us, be proactive, make us feel like we're appreciated. It's getting bad.
That's exactly why I called you here. I emailed you.
What?
No, it's,
All right.
it wasn't you.
All right. All right. Is there? All right. We've got that. Are you ready to go on?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'd like to hand you out a. This is my inventory list.
Thank you.
So there's question about this alignment bill. If you look at my inventory list, these are all the vehicles that the highway is responsible for. Whether it's oil changes, tires, batteries, windshields, wipers, brakes, lettering, gas, diesel, do it all. The invoice with Lyman on it, from Lyman with Mercy Mary, that's to tell me, identify what department it went to. I lettered the Board of Health card, I wouldn't have a question. I lettered the senior citizens van, an Explorer, there was never a problem. I letted, emergency management's BvA Explorer, the Pass Explorer, their rehab command bus. They never had a problem. This falls under my maintenance. In my 200 account, you'll see vinyl lettering. Yes, it's on the budget, $450. I'll have to make do at the end of the year, watch my budget, but I'm responsible for all this. No, there's no indirect transfer or helping out another department. This is in my control. And this is how I've been doing it since I've been here. I set this budget up, it's a supply budget with Carter, and everything's listed. And all these vehicles are my responsibility. I don't help out a department. If I help out like the fire department, if they had something emergency, I'll send my mechanic down and give him a hand, but they pretty much have their own maintenance budget. The sewer department, they deal with themselves, light and water, but the rest of it, it's all on me. And if you want to take and break down a maintenance budget for each, like the Board of Health have a maintenance budget for all these other little departments, you're asking for a lot of trouble because now they're gonna open up vendors. You're gonna have cross invoices, charging the wrong departments. It's gonna be more of a mess than it is now. But there's nothing going on here, or I'm not even ashamed of anything. This is normal procedure. And I've done it in the past. And like I said, I lettered all these other vehicles. I don't know why this one is sticking out in everybody's face. There's nothing I did wrong.
Is there anything else that you wish to say?
I'll let you speak if.
Okay, Mr. Curtis,
Yes.
do you wish to speak?
Well, for one, I haven't heard an apology yet. This is the way, since I've gotten a vehicle for emergency management, this is the way this has been handled. It started with Carter, and it's been this way ever since. We don't abuse our budget or his budget by doing any maintenance that we don't need to have done.
You don't have much of a.
There isn't, I don't have any other kind of a budget anyway. I only have about $1,200 to spend every year.
$2,250 this year.
Let him speak.
Yeah, 500 of that is stipend. So there isn't room for me to handle 3 vehicles. And like Bob said, it would be crazy to try and give me a vehicle maintenance account rather than just having it all on one vehicle maintenance account for the town.
Do you wish to add anything else, Mr. Curtis?
No, that's it.
All right, Mr. Sosek, you all set for now?
Answer any questions you have.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Okay,
Where did the vehicle come from?
wait a minute.
Oh, excuse me.
All right. Do you wish to
You
go
want me to
first?
answer that?
Yeah,
What's your question, Dov?
where did the vehicle come from?
EM4, which is a 2010 Explorer, which is the one we're trying to replace right now. That one came from, originally, I believe it was the electric company or water. I'm not sure which one. It went to the Parks and Cemetery, then it went to DPW, and then I got it. That was my first vehicle. The second vehicle was the retired or decommissioned ambulance that the fire department gave us so that we could use it for firefighter rehab and mobile command post. And then this third vehicle I got last year, it's called TEMA 6 now. That was a decommissioned police cruiser. It's been painted, lettered, and it's emergency management now.
Okay.
Those are the 3 vehicles I have. I don't have room for any others, so I can only have 3 vehicles.
I was under the impression that when I was on the advisory board, that when we bought vehicles, that we would turn them in, but apparently that kind of went by the board. And it looks like a lot of movement's been made. Who approved this? Anybody? Or
The
did you
town
just say-
administrator,
Oh, who, Carter?
Carter started it, yes. The last one was given to me by Adam.
Okay.
You know, if you
Interesting.
think it's wise to spend upwards of 50,000, probably closer to 70, because what I really need is a pickup truck on an emergency management that isn't busy all the time, instead of spending $1,500 to
No,
change
no,
over.
just explain
No,
it.
no, let me
I don't
finish,
know.
please. Let me finish. Instead of spending $1,500, which is about what it cost this time to change over that police vehicle for emergency management use, that vehicle will last us probably 5 years. Who knows? We don't use it like a police department would, so it gets less used. It'll last longer.
Yeah.
If you think it's wiser to spend $1,500 for 5 years rather than 70,000 for maybe 10 or 15, well, that's what you feel. I think you're wrong.
No, I
think the
didn't say I
townspeople-
felt that. I didn't understand. Now I do. Okay?
Yep.
How do you manage these vehicles if you don't have a budget? It's the same way
take-
with the recreation. They've got a vehicle. They don't have any money.
All we need usually is yearly maintenance. And
Tires and,
that comes out of the town's vehicle budget.
okay, all right.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Devin, if you look at the inventory list,
Yeah, I see that.
it's all covered under the.
Yeah, well, I just got it, so, Okay.
All right, do you have any further questions?
Nope.
All right, April.
I do have some questions for Rich, but I do want to make a comment to you. The reason why this particular invoice came to light is because we've started reviewing the budget versus actuals. This particular invoice was in one of those, and when we pulled it further to see what it was, we noticed that it was emergency management under your budget. So that's why at that point, I kind of stopped all the speculation during that meeting and said that I would invite you to come here and give us an explanation as to why it was done. There wasn't any speculation or anything of that sort of wrongdoing. It was more or less, let's just get some clarification as to why it was done this way and is this standard practice. The fact that you gave us your inventory list and that it's included in your inventory completely makes sense. You clarified my questions in
Right,
regards to
right.
this.
You guys are doing stuff that
One
that
person.
people don't really know.
Yeah,
Okay, wait a
please,
minute.
one person at a
Yeah.
time.
I feel this could have been resolved without justifying a meeting. Like I said, an email, phone call, somebody stop in. I have no trouble showing anybody anything I have. And explanations. But,
I did send you an email. You could have responded to that email,
this
as
didn't
such.
start from you, this started from select board.
Okay.
And then I responded to them and explained the same thing, then I dribbled down to here.
Okay.
Like I said, a lot of this small stuff can be handled without calling a meeting. I'm welcome to anybody. I'll talk to anybody whether I like it or not. I'm here for Templeton.
Well, I wanted to give you the opportunity to explain the situation, and to clarify everybody's concerns in
Yeah.
regards to it. And that's all I have in regards to that. And you did that. And I thank you for coming and taking the time out of your evening. Rich, my question to you is, emergency management vehicles. You don't have a budget for them. You state that you only need 3 of them. I do see them on the road, on a daily basis. The last emergency that I know that we've had was 6 months ago. Is it standard practice that you guys are using these daily, and why? Because that's gonna bring up the maintenance cost, and maybe we need to look into putting maintenance in your budget, opposed to dipping into the DPW's budget with your maintenance of vehicles.
One vehicle is used by me. I take it home. It's with me 24/7 when I'm at home. That's only 6 months out of the year. And that's where that vehicle gets used.
Okay,
I use
I've,
it to go to and from the office, which I do almost daily.
okay,
If I don't go to the office, it sits there in my yard.
okay, I just saw it last week, and I understand that you were down in Florida.
So
We
we
do
just did
have-
service. We just did a service on some of his stuff and EM4 was one of them.
Okay,
With that being said, they had a PM, which is a general maintenance, oil change, air and all that stuff. And it's got an inspection sticker. With that being said, that's the last inspection sticker that vehicle is gonna receive, because the frame rod is getting too intense. It won't pass the next inspection.
okay. And then the ambulance, I saw that yesterday, pulling into the diesel pump at Hoodola. I thought we had diesel at the station, the highway department, so
Yeah,
why are we utilizing Hoodola for diesel?
I don't know, I can't verify if it was their fuel on or not.
Okay,
Do you have,
Rich?
do you have any further questions?
well, I'd like a
Oh.
response to that.
What's that?
Who drove the ambulance yesterday and why, if there was not an emergency?
My vehicles get used whenever it's necessary. For example, they were out over the weekend up at the school, helping the police department with the event at the school. Today, I do know that Team of 6 was taken out to go get an inspection sticker. I managed to call him while he was in the line to let him know that it already had one. Tomorrow morning, the rehab truck will be going to CONS garage to get an inspection sticker. Just because I'm not there, there's 3 other EMDs, 3 other deputies, and I have a CERT team.
Okay.
And if we get called out for events or if we're requested for events, those vehicles are being used, towing trailers, going to these events.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any further questions? Okay, Liz, do you have any questions?
Yes, so, on the form, it wasn't easy to see on the Lyman thing, but it said highway supplies per Bob, no money in perch services is what it said. And when this came in, it was less than 2 months into the fiscal year. And I'm looking, because I'm looking at the detail, all right? And I realize there's some things that may have been done a certain way over time, but in my opinion, it's not appropriate for how it's been done. The purpose of the police department getting a new vehicle every year is to cut down on maintenance costs, not for the police department, for all of Templeton. This never came in front of Capital and it never came in front of the select board to be reutilized. In my opinion, it should have gone to the select, first of all, it should have come to Capital for emergency management to say that they needed a vehicle. The fact that emergency management has 3 vehicles, and to the best of my knowledge, there is no requirement on the town of Templeton for emergency management to have any vehicles. If there's an emergency that has been stated, and Rich, please correct me if I've got this wrong, because that's my understanding, is that you then have access to any town vehicle when an emergency has been declared. So,
You're absolutely correct, but you're wrong.
okay, help
Because
educate me.
during an emergency, every department is out busy doing their own thing. If I take a vehicle away from the fire department, or if I take a vehicle away from Bob at the DPW, that is preventing their people from getting their work done. I have 3 vehicles because I have a rehab truck that does fire department rehab. That's the main use of that vehicle. We take care of the firefighters during structure fires.
Mhm.
The 2 vehicles are used to trailer the 11 trailers that I have to deal with. Now, if you think that I can steal vehicles from other departments anytime I need to move a vehicle, it's just not going to happen.
Okay, so I'm
I
Yes,
think I can help you. I think he answered part of it, but the highway department and buildings and grounds I present capital needs to you in for future equipment, trucks, et cetera. Each department, whether it's the senior center, emergency management, board of health, it's all up to the department head for them to present capital needs for their department. I just take care of those vehicles. So I know back in 2020, Mike Dixon did present to capital either to purchase a used pickup or a new pickup.
Okay.
So it has been presented.
The one that was just repainted, re-signed, everything else, that never went to capital. Is my,
That didn't go to capital, that was approved, like you said, through Adam.
which was incorrect. That should have gone to the select board. And, don't go, over there. It needed to go through the select board. The select board is responsible for it. When the chief of police basically, says he no longer needs a vehicle, right? It is then the select board's responsibility to decide what happens to that vehicle, whether it gets repurposed, right? Or whether or not it gets surplus. That didn't take place. Well, for whatever reason, it didn't take place. The other thing is, and this is directed towards Mr. Curtis, that over the past couple of years, Mr. Curtis, you've gone in on the Saturday meeting and you've been very, very proud of the fact that your area only costs the town $2,000. This time is $2,250. And that's an inaccurate statement because it really has cost the town significantly more than what your budget is reflecting. Now, for whatever reason, it's not transparent. I'm not saying anybody intentionally did anything wrong. It's just not transparent as to how much some of this stuff is actually costing. The location of the vehicles, and I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but it's when we have a personal auto insurance, right? The insurance company wants to know where that vehicle is garaged. How does that work for the town of Templeton? Does the town of Templeton's auto insurance? I don't know if you can answer it, and if you can't, that's okay.
When a new vehicle or used vehicle gets brought into a department, besides police and fire, I usually do all the registrations because senior center is not familiar with the operation, the board of health. So I go down and register the vehicle. I tell them what department it's for. Like emergency management, it's gonna be garage at 2 School Street. My stuff is obviously 381 Ballinville Road. Police is 33 South Road. So yes, they're identified where they are currently garaged.
But those are not accurate addresses based on what I just heard. Because if they take the vehicle home, that is not 2 School Street, and that's the point I'm trying to make, is we're saying we're doing one thing, right? And this really isn't meant to beat up on you, and I apologize if it comes across that way. It's to say that the process is, if it's not going to be at 2 School Street, then the paperwork is incorrect, or that vehicle needs to be at 2 School Street as registered. And it's things like that. The fact that I now understand how the transfer took place, but it didn't do what I believe it was required to do, and it doesn't properly reflect the expenses. So it's important to know these things, because when we go through the budget and that day-long thing on Saturday, right? It's very specific as far as what things are being covered. You have one line item for what appears to be one vehicle for $425 in your budget for signage. And you had at least 6 or 7 different ones. That's someplace a failure in recognizing that your line item budget needed to be adjusted. And being that far in only 2 months into the year and not having the funds, there's no good answer there. If that makes sense.
Yes and no. Like I said, yes, it's, my line item is under budget, but, so without looking at the budget, so say I only bought, I don't know how many batteries, say if I put in for 40 batteries or whatever for the year, I only bought 30, so yes, I can use that money within the same budget to help out something else. And where I got heavily hit this budget season, in my budgets, I'm trying to make do with what I got.
Well-
But as far as the vehicles, whether it's going through the select board to be approved, or the TA, or whatever power they have, that's up to the department head, how they present it. I'm just responsible for the maintenance and taking care of the vehicle, except for when I present something that I want, I would do the capital. It's just like the utility pickup I've been asking for several years. Adam said I was supposed to get it through meals tax or whatever they're calling it now. Nothing's happened. So next year, it'll probably go back to a cruiser. It's supposed to alternate between the police and DPW small light duty trucks. And I haven't received one yet.
You received you
Yeah,
received
no,
two
it's a 750. This
750s.
is light duty trucks, a utility pickup truck.
So the point I'm trying to make is that throughout the budgeting process, it is not transparent where the money is being spent and how it's being spent. I realize you have, I think it's, what is it? For DPW, you have, where is it on here? Highway, $851,000 within it, and that's what it's covered. But emergency management only has $2,250. And it's costing the town more than $2,250 to support that particular department. And so however you want to show that, and I honestly believe that throughout, you need to show roughly the expenses that you have with each one of the departments.
Well, when a vehicle gets added on, I do increase the gas or diesel, whatever it is, in the supplies. Projecting what minor stuff that could go wrong. Any major stuff, because Rich knows this, senior citizen, and any of these Explorers that cost big. I redline them, take them right out of service, and they're gonna go to surplus or the auction.
And I think that that's the part that's missing that isn't transparent, right? I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying it's not transparent. It's not obvious that this is taking place. Because, we're in as you know, we're in a situation where we have to watch every single penny. And, Mr. Curtis saying, well, buying a $70,000 truck. Well, okay, well, that should have gone through capital. And, repurposing another vehicle, I can understand the benefit of doing that. But at the same time, the select board has been very, very clear of wanting to lower the maintenance budgets across everything. The police department has been very clear. They're very proud of the fact that their budget, when it comes to maintenance, is significantly lower. All that's happened is it's transferred from one department to another. It's still within your responsibility, but it hasn't gone down.
So. Yes and no. I can remember when I first started, like emergency management, they using personal vehicles to tow all these trailers and go to the events and even out of town events. So my first vehicle was that 2010 Ford Explorer. They had nothing, so Carter handed it down to them. Then I went out and had enough money out of my budget through Carter to buy 2014 Chevy Equinox with 100 and something thousand.
Mhm.
That lasted for 3-4 years. And then we finally got approved to buy a small vehicle myself. Now that vehicle went to the fire department for daily inspections. Now they're all done with it because it's red line. It's cost, I'm not putting money into it. So I do use mine wisely and making decisions on whether I'm gonna burn money through the town to keep this going or redline it.
Mhm. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to keep sinking big dollar money into vehicles that shouldn't be sidelined. But also remember, before they ask for a newer, fairly new used truck. In the way the town's been declining in capital severely. You know they're not gonna get it. I haven't got nothing in 2 years now. And having something in a small department like that doesn't put the hours and miles on a vehicle versus like the police department. Yes, the police department's maintenance budget, of course it went down. My new stuff, I can say it probably went down a little bit, but when something goes wrong, all the electronics,
Mhm.
the filters for the new pollution system, those are $7,000.
Yeah.
If they don't regen, you can't clean them. It's big money, so it's a roller coaster. It could save you money or it couldn't. So I know Adam was against leases. That would be the best thing to do.
Mhm.
5 years, trade in a loader, truck, start all over brand new. Yes, your maintenance will be pretty good.
And I hear what you're saying. I'm also trying to watch every single penny. You know, I know what my husband and I do in our personal lives. You know, we basically run the vehicles into the ground. We got 250,000 miles on vehicles before I am not advocating that. What I'm saying is that things need to be a little more transparent, in my opinion. Because people need to understand your thought process, how you got there, why do you want to redline this one and not this one? And with the select board sitting there saying, you need to lower the maintenance costs. The only way you can lower maintenance costs is to remove vehicles from the usage. And so then the question comes down, how many of these vehicles are really required by each department? Not my call, not my decision, not anything. It's a question, right? So I think I only have one other question in here, and thank you for being patient with me on this. Let's see, I got the surplus. I understand that. How much did it cost for the paint job? Because you had to repaint it, right? But now,
Rich's volunteers did that. He did the rehab bus as well.
Less
okay,
than $300 for this car.
okay, awesome. Because that wasn't seen. It's Rich, I hope you understand that it's really,
That money was taken out of my budget.
oh, okay. It's for me, the surprising part is sitting through multiple meetings with you saying it's only costing the town whatever your budget line is, when that may be accurate for your budget itself, but it's not accurate for how much it actually is costing the town. And that's where my heartache is, because I don't think it's a valid explanation, whatever of the situation. Now, how to handle that to keep the paperwork low, that's, you've got the software. I don't know, Bob, I don't know if that will help you at all to be able to make it easier to make things more transparent. And that's really from where I'm coming from.
On the
what I'm
mechanic side of it, is inputted what parts, cost
Mhm.
and what vehicle. It's like this fast auction I had, 2 trucks. I sent thousands and thousands of dollars. It's sickening what I had to put in them so I could get through a winter. And I finally said, I'm short a truck.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, I'm talking $20,000-$30,000. It's sickening. And to project new vehicle, again, I'm applying for another 6-wheel dump truck. I've been working on going on 8 years trying to get the 5 trucks replaced, and I be here long enough, but all my, if you see my inventory list, everything in yellow is within the next 5 years. So basically, you're gonna be back when I started, a pile of junk. And you're gonna be in the same boat, because everything was purchased too close together, and there's not any distance or rotation, so everything's gonna be due. And it's not gonna be a good for the town.
No, it's agreeable. It's not going to. When you come in front of capital, do you have the 5 or 6 year plan?
It's
For
right in
play-
front of you,
it-
everything,
it-
you know.
That's okay. So that is what you would be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, because that's part of it. So thank you for your patience. That was really what I had. I now understand where it came from and why, you know, we just, I think how things were handled in the past. I'm only one member on this board, on this committee, all right? But I would highly ask that the committee suggest making a recommendation to the select board that be put into a policy as to how this would be handled and what the process is, because
I mean, if
yeah.
there's, come the end of the year, I'm not saying I either do in-house transfers, or when I switched all the fire alarm. Cause everything was so outdated, we couldn't even get parts for stuff, and the service was terrible. It took me all this time to finally get rid of that company and get a new company in.
Mhm.
So, like the senior, I didn't have the monies, so the senior center paid for theirs, the library paid for theirs. And the fire department helped out paying for his building, and I pretty much took care of the rest. So, and we got it done, but it was all legit, there was nothing being hidden, everything was transferred and done properly, like I said, I wouldn't even think of doing something crooked in this,
Yeah, because that's, it's just the fact that it's, the statement on here was that you were already over budget. You're only 2 months into it. That's where my questions came from, right? And knowing what the emergency management budget was, right? And how much this would take into account the emergency management budget and use that budget. And you can't do transfers, department to department without going through advisory and the select board, right? And it's more, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. What I'm saying is everything needs to be transparent in a way, and having, where you started the conversation with having things at the beginning, we just have a conversation about it? That doesn't educate everyone else in town as to what the problem is. And I'm not saying it's your problem. What I'm saying is what the problem is that the town and taxpayers need to understand. So having these private conversations may be efficient, but it doesn't educate everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I
thank
say
you.
something?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Jacqueline and then I'll come back to you.
I think, so is what Liz and everyone's trying to determine is, should each of these departments that Mr. Sozak manages and runs all be budgeted under each department? So like cemetery, these things that need maintenance, the monies should come from their department.
Mhm.
It should all be separated. Is there a way to do that that's
As I said earlier,
efficient, or like,
you're asking for a big mess.
yeah, that's right,
The way it is now, it's like one lump sum
right.
for what I'm taking care
We'd
of.
have to like piecemeal it. I don't know who would even, is there somebody who could even begin to chip away at that? I mean, I don't,
Well,
if
to
that's the end
individualize
game.
each department,
yeah,
it's kept track of what repairs and parts and done to each vehicle, whether it's building and grounds, emergency management, highway, or board of health, senior center. But you're asking to individualize for them to have a budget, or?
well, yeah, and then, I mean, I guess it would take a lot off of your life plate, but it would add to somebody else's who has no idea how to run these things. So kudos to you for these things.
So I use Fleet Pride as one of my vendors. So if Rich opens up an account at Fleet Pride, building the grounds open up.
Right.
And they mistakenly, and it happens now, minimally, so they charge the wrong department. So if you don't have a good department head that picks up on it, there's gonna be cross invoicing. And I think you're asking.
Yeah.
Open a big can of worms.
Exactly.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay, I'm going to go back. Do you have a question about?
No, what Elizabeth said is true. That there has to be some accountability and an explanation, and the way it was done wasn't done well. But it isn't your fault either. A lot of it comes, we have needed for a long time a really good town administrator. Because I think things have gotten loose, so things kind of get slid by the board and they aren't done the way they should be. You know, it's not your fault that it didn't go to the select board. That was his fault.
Yeah, I have, like I said, I'm just.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the
Yeah,
vehicle that
it's-
has plates on it? It's like.
It's not your fault. It's not Rich's fault that it wasn't handled right. So hopefully now, for once, I have been in this town my whole life and we are broke every 6 years, 7 years. When we're broke, it takes us 3 or 4 years to get better. And it's because of mishandling of money. We are going to be in big trouble the next year coming. And I think that what Elizabeth is saying is that there is not a lot of money floating around. It is going to be tough and you are going to have a hard time. But at least if things are clear, it does away. I apologize, Rich. I was probably tired that night and my mouth ran without my brain. Same to you. I didn't mean it that way. I don't even remember what I said, so much for that. But it didn't look right. It didn't look good. And now at least we have an explanation. So the next time, hopefully things will be handled better. And it's not all your fault. If we have a town administrator, it's going to make it a lot easier. Because the selectmen can't do it all either. They can't be managing the town and managing their business. You can't do it all. And so I think over the years, things have slid. So they cut out the fine print and just kind of go to the base.
If,
That's what-
making any type of decision, I always went through the town administrator.
Yeah, well,
For a second
we
opinion.
needed a really good professional town
Well,
administrator. Not-
Because I want all my stuff.
So it's going to take time to recover.
Okay, you all set?
That's
back? Okay, all right. I would like to comment and also a couple of questions. First of all, you know, when I joined advisory, was appointed to advisory 3 years ago, when I first met you, first thing out of my mouth was, I would not interfere with your day-to-day affairs. And the reason why I said that is I managed an entity that was probably about 4 times bigger than your Department of Public Services, with at least 4 or 5 times as many employees. And, you know, I had the bottom line responsibility. And I understand the problems that you face day by day. And what I want to say is, you know, I look at the BvAs, I look at them, and you, in my opinion, do better than anybody else as far as being given a budgeted amount of money, and you don't go out over it and you don't go under it. I mean, every year that I've seen it, it's like 99% spent, 99.5% spent. And I can only remember one time that you've had to come before advisory, and I think it was when a culvert, broke. And I think that if you were not a good manager, that you would, managers who are not good are always looking for more money. You don't look for more money. You work with what you have, and you do a very good job at it. And I really appreciate the fact that you came up with the inventory list, for us. That's very much appreciated. I think I've had numerous conversations. The new town administrator with at least 4 of us. I'm not sure if Bev has had a chance to meet.
Met him tonight.
Okay. He has given us 7 hours of his time over the past 2 weeks. Is with either individually or with 2 of us, so as not to violate the open meeting law. And we've gone over, many different things. And I think, you know, one of the reasons why this came forward is I really don't like the idea of, and this is just, I really don't like the idea of department heads coming before us. I know you came here voluntarily. I appreciate that. But I really think that if there are issues like this, it really should be, you know, the town administrator and us, or us going to the town administrator. I really believe that.
We
have
one.
But we didn't have one, so it was kind of the perfect storm of,
No, it's
of
not what it used
issues.
to be when Carter was here. Everything
Yeah.
through Carter and the select board, all the committees, everything funneled through him. And he reached out to the department.
And then that's what Mr. Ryan wants to do, but he hasn't had a chance of the time to do it yet. And I think that 4 or 5 months down the road, I think that everybody's going to be happy because whatever questions that myself or other members of advisory may have, when we look at a BvA, you know, we can go to Mr. Ryan, and I think he'll have an answer for us right away. I really do. I also, I know, you know, Mr. Ryan's philosophy is, looking, you know, and us looking at the BvA is he's really only interested, and I feel the same way, is in looking at the BvA is, are you going over your budget? You know, have you spent 50% of your budget in 4 months when you really should have, you know, spent no more than maybe 30% of the budget? So, you know, that's what I look at. That's what I think that we should be looking at. I do think and I think this is a concern of Liz, is that, you know, quite often there's not invoices that match up, and that warrants go before the select board or have gone before the select board that don't adequately describe, you know, everything that was purchased. That's been a problem. I think Liz would agree that that's been a concern. And Mr. Ryan is, you know, he did send us an email that said that he's going to tighten the control over the town credit card. He's going to monitor the expenses, and he's going to try to make sure that there's an invoice and that what goes in the warrants for the select board to sign is, you know, that everything matches up. But he needs some time to do that. My question is, and this is really to Mr. Curtis, but, you know, either of you can answer this. I think, and I get the sense from talking to a couple of my fellow members, is that it seems to me that Mr. Curtis should have a budget of some kind, and I'm not sure what the amount is. I look back a couple of fiscal years ago, fiscal year 23, and I think Mr. Curtis at that time had a budget of $1,750. And my question to both of you is, say we were to recommend a budget of $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000, would that help things out? Would that help, you know, Mr. Curtis, or would that help you? Or would it just confuse things?
My personal opinion is, I think he deserves that $3,000 or $4,000, but
They'll be in
not chasing off of vehicle maintenance. He's got radios, maintenance and equipment and turnover to do. He's got all this equipment that he could use that money for.
Now, my understanding is that Mr. Curtis has been very good at obtaining grants to cover those type of expenses.
Right, but if
Uh,
you need to call a radio company or service or radio problems, he's gotta call a company and they gotta come out and fix it. That's an expense. Yes, I do have a radio budget. That's for my own stuff though.
Right.
So you're not covering his,
Radios, no, I just vehicles.
So Mr. Curtis.
Most of our radios are purchased where we have the programs, we can maintain our own radios. We purchase our own radios, mostly through grants, but now grants are a thing of the past. We haven't seen one in about a year now. So,
you really do need a budget.
well,
If
You know, you
the
gotta-
grant
you gotta-
sources have dried up, it sounds like you need a budget.
you got to consider that I had 54 people, I think, on my volunteer CERT team. I have to equip them. The town has never really given me any money in a budget for them. I've done most everything with those people. And I would say a good 90% of all the equipment that we've accrued over the years through grants. And those grants have dried up. So, you know, like right now, we did this little activity over the weekend with the school. I got a phone call immediately afterwards saying that they're short on vests, visibility vests. You know, if you're going to be standing out there in the middle of the road directing traffic, might be nice to have something on that people can see. So now I've got to sit down and decide how many I'm going to purchase just to get myself by with that right now.
Well, Mr. Curtis, what I would urge you to do, and I think the majority, you know, I think the members of the committee would agree that maybe you should try to come up with a budget. I don't know what that dollar figure would be, but it seems like you need a budget.
Well, let's put it this way. If you look at our next door neighbor, Phillipston, I believe he gets pretty close to $5,000 for a budget. And they also give them about $3,500 for a stipend. And what this town has given me is usually $1,750, no stipend. And just recently, they gave me a $500 stipend. I got my first stipend last year.
So it sounds to me like the budget should be in the area of $5,000.
I think so.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I think what I really think needs to happen at this point is that Mr. Curtis, for the new, as we get into the budget season, he needs to have a no kidding what his budget needs to look like, you know, as opposed to saying, well, this is what Phillipson does, or this is what so-and-so does, or this is, it's like, what does he really need? Make it very transparent. And I'm not saying for it to be, you know, shut down. What I'm saying is it needs to be transparent. People need to understand that this is what it costs. If, you know, if the grants are drying up, which they, you know, they are, right? As he said, then that needs to show up in his budget and for what it is. It's, you know, it's like taking, you know, Mr. Zosic's budget where he's got all the maintenance for all of the different departments. When he presents his budget, and this is my suggestion to you, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, is you actually list out going, okay, this department, typically, this is the spend that I have to cover for this department. So it's not putting it directly into it, it's making it transparent.
yeah.
So that way, everybody knows that this part of your budget is for these kinds of things for this department versus this department versus this. Hopefully that will not add any overhead, you know, to your workload, but that it does those things. Mr. Curtis needs to have a budget that is realistic to what his needs are for his area to be able to continue to deliver the excellent service and everything else that the CERT team does, you know? So, thank you.
Okay, we've spent about an hour on this. Mr. Sosik, do you wish to add anything more?
No, I'm glad you came to an understanding what I presented and our needs and his needs, and hopefully you guys are comfortable. And
So that means you're not gonna fill my driveway with snow?
I'm not gonna promise you that.
I appreciate you coming. Thank you so much.
I would like direct this, you know, to my fellow members. Are there any recommendations that come to mind, you know, where we should?
My only suggestion is if Mr. Curtis would like us to make a recommendation at some point to the select board over what monies he might need, if he would like to come to attend a future meeting with something more detailed, that could be something we could forward to the select board for him before budget season,
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful.
or reach out to the town administrator and do it himself. It depends on which avenue he would, or do both. I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
do it all.
It basically comes down to what we have for money. You know, everybody needs something.
They do, but I think when you have zero to begin with, you need
Yeah,
You know, the only way you can go is up.
We're just a recommending board, so
Yeah.
we could
Yeah.
recommend that someone brings down the moon.
Yeah.
It's just, we're just here to help in the best ways we can. Just like we just helped Jackie Prime a couple weeks ago with her earmark,
The other thing is, I think we do need to make a recommendation to the select board for policy on how they want to handle potential either reuse or surplus of vehicles and anything that's in that would fall into that capital range. Because and this is just my opinion, I'm only one person, is that things that when they would be transferred from the responsibility of one department to another, if it falls within that capital range, it needs to go to capital. And it's more for education, communication, transparency. So it's there because maybe the right choice isn't giving, repurposing a vehicle. Maybe the right choice is, all right, we need to somehow figure out in the capital plan in year 3, this department needs this requirement and needs this money, and trying to figure out how to make it work so the town functions.
So you look at my, all the yellow stuff.
I was just gonna say, Mr. Sosek,
I won't be here, but I bless you guys on getting through
I
that.
don't
Be in
think
the
you've had
crowd.
a replacement vehicle since ARPA money. Am I correct?
Well, we did get the 2 bigger trucks, the 750s, but I used to have 6 trucks that plow and sand. Now I'm down to 5 because I refuse to put money into the ones that I put in auction.
I don't blame you. I understand that. I have calculated the capital needs of the town for equipment. And a year ago, I figured it was about $700,000 a year just to keep your existing equipment, $700,000 a year. And you haven't received anything for 2 years.
I
And
mean,
you're down, it's really closer to $1 million now.
the theory is it's one truck with a plow and sand that is able to maintain about 10 miles of road per storm to keep up with it. Anything beyond that, it goes the other way.
And you have 70 to 80 miles of road, so you need 7 or 8
I
vehicles.
got a couple of routes that are over 20 miles and one almost 30 miles, so it's
So it increases the wear and tear on your vehicle.
also the delay on plowing and cleaning up, and I mean, I'm sure trucks
a lot of people that live here work out of town, so they leave early. Makes it hard.
we do the best we can with what we got, but we're sure to help the
Right.
trucks.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the other thing that I'd like to suggest is that because there's hopefully nobody minds this phraseology. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Maybe it isn't buying another vehicle. Maybe it's and I don't know the answer. Whether or not you contract things out instead. There are other things you can do, because not only do you need to take into account the capital costs of the vehicle, the wear and tear on the personnel involved, the additional hours, the additional overtime, what that does to OPEB at the end of the day, all those things need to be taken into account. And so there may be other ways of getting the results that the town needs without constantly going down this path. Just because we've always done it this way doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way. I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't, I'm just saying
Look at.
it needs to be.
You do contract, don't you? I had a guy.
We small trucks, yes, I have 5 or 6 subcontractors that I would pretty much double up with
Yeah.
our guys, so the route gets done fast. Instead of making 2 passes, they only have to make 1 and cleaning up intersections. But I know what you're saying, if you can take my department all the way and sub everything out, but the rates and everything today, you're not gonna win.
There's a risk.
Right.
And I'm not the right person to say which way it should go. I'm just saying we need to look, you can't solve a problem if you don't know it exists. And if we're not transparent about the problems that the town has and some of the problems, being able to properly support your department and the capital and everything else, if it's not out there on the table and spoken about all the time, right? When it comes to town meeting and it goes, it's not either going to pass a town meeting or it's not going to pass on the vote for whatever it is that we're trying to do. So, thank you.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, I'm going to end the discussion. I understand that there are YouTube comments.
No, see any.
There's not?
No.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like
Gee,
there are.
that might be a lot. Okay, first off, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
It's great.
Going forward, what do you wish to do? Do you wish to table this for 1 month? And try to come up with a recommendation?
I think we can come up with a rough draft recommendation to, I mean,
Okay.
I think we can, because we kind of need to move it forward. It's basically as I already stated, the policy, have a stated policy of how vehicles and capital items will be reused or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have enough on.
Do any other suggestions?
No.
What do you mean?
And budget for, and an expanded budget for emergency management is my only other thing.
Yeah, I have that.
Jacqueline, do you have something?
Have a stated policy on how capital items are reused or not.
And directed to the select board?
Let them decide how they want to do. You have a comment.
Just real quick, I
Sure.
would look back, Liz, because I do believe there's a policy in place. And over the years, the select board members put a lot of responsibility on the town administrator. And these department heads have been able to work with that one person to make decisions and not 5. So they've gone through the town administrator, who does present the ideas to the Board of Select. But Board of Selectmen is technically looking at budgets and policies. That's their job when they're elected to those seats. So town administrator, over the years that I was on, each year they got more and more responsibility and more money given to them in their budget. So I can understand why these department heads are going directly to town administrators.
So there's a
They
policy.
shouldn't really, I think there's already a policy in place for that. I mean, don't hold me to that, but I believe there's one in place already. And that's why a lot of these department heads go directly to the town administrator. If the town administrator has a question, they can ask the select board, or if they need an opinion from the select board before they make a decision. But they don't technically, every little thing that goes on in the town, you have to put a lot of faith in your department heads. And I didn't see any faith in this particular department head tonight. And he's one of your best. He's one of your best. We hired him, and that man has never gone over a budget. With the crap that highway department uses to keep everyone safe, it's a shame that someone would be questioned on that. Town administrator has always made decisions about surpluses from department heads that I've known of. And I believe that was put in policy
It's not
years
in the
ago.
policy. It's not in there that says that they.
But if it's not in there, I mean,
It's not in
to
there.
go to the select board and ask the select board to run the day-to-day of this town, then why do you have department heads? You have to put a lot of faith in your department heads.
And what, so I
You really.
don't want to,
Okay.
I really don't want to get into
That's just
debate.
my opinion.
Back
But
and
I
forth
think you should
beyond.
look back, and I think that a lot of responsibility was given to various town administrators over the years, that they can take care of the day-to-day of running Templeton.
I'm just want to respond to
Okay.
one thing. The town of Templeton does not have a strong town. And I'm not talking about the individual. I'm talking about the responsibilities of that particular position is not a strong managerial town administrator. That person can only do as much as the select board has allowed. Over the years, the select board has allowed a lot more. And in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, it inappropriately handed over way too much. But that's only my opinion. So this, what appears to be happening with this particular select board is they're pulling back on a lot of those things. A lot of those decisions should be made by the select board. The policy, I went through and looked at the policy, and in what I saw in it, and maybe I just missed it, it doesn't specifically state how that's supposed to happen beyond, looks like it's the approval process is supposed to be the select board and not the TA. So I don't know, but anyways, thank you.
So excuse me, what Julie was saying is kind of correct. That was standard way since Kyle's been here, go to the TA.
Yeah, really.
And when the light department donated that Explorer to the Board of Health, I did bring that to the select board to vote on to accept the vehicle.
Yeah, I think that the department head should run the department. And report to the TA, and then the select board should act like a board of directors and set policies, and we should also set policies. And this is where I differ from my fellow members to a certain extent, but it's a philosophical thing as much as anything. And it's part of the push-pull of town government. How much authority should the select board have versus the town administrator? I mean, I've seen several other towns, and there's always this tension, between the two groups. I think Mr. Ryan tends to fall on the side of, let the select board be a board of directors, and I'll take care of the department heads. I suspect from my conversations with that is what he wants to do. That's the direction that he wants to go in. But he's only been on the job for 2 weeks, and he's run into, for lack of a better term, some landmines, that he's trying to fix, and he needs time to fix some of the landmines. And I just think that time will tell. I think there's a policy recommendation that we can make here. I really do. I think you want more transparency, and you want to make sure that every invoice matches up, so to speak. I hear Julie, and I'm kind of on the side of leave the department heads alone. Bother them only if they go over their allotted budget, which Bob has not done. Bob's very good at managing what he has. So this is the tension. It's the tension between these two.
But
Yes.
our job is to work for the people of this town. And if we see something that doesn't look right, it behooves us to ask and find out. Okay?
That's fair.
We do not work for the selectmen. We do not work for anybody but the people.
Right, but the push-pull is.
It doesn't, a push or pull.
The
We asked a
push-pull
question,
is-
we got an answer.
The push-pull is to what extent do you look at things within an $11 million budget? And that's,
Then we're broke.
well, it's the
Time,
Sorry.
And again, I would only strongly suggest that you utilize your town administrator for your
When we
questions.
have one that's.
Go through them,
That's enough.
Okay, I'm gonna stop
go
it.
to them.
All right, I'm
Do you know
gonna,
what I mean?
all right, I'm gonna stop it right here. I think we've had a very good discussion. We've gone as far as we can. I think,
Yeah.
why don't you read back Liz's suggestion?
To have a stated policy on how capital items are reused or not.
It's real simple.
Okay.
What it is, who's responsible for it. Ultimately, I truly believe it's the select board that is ultimately responsible for what happens with the capital.
Well, I would change it to phrase it to ask both the town administrator and the select board to work on a policy.
That works
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
And I think that would answer the.
It's just that way just transparent. You know, it's like sometimes people people present to the board, sometimes they don't. Well, let's get it standard. Either you always do or you don't, you know, not, well, I did hear, but I didn't hear. Well, let's do nothing. Something.
Okay, I just, as far as the, what you have written, Jacqueline,
So we're gonna change it for a motion to the town administrator and select board
Mhm.
to come up with a policy.
Yes. An approved policy.
So,
I had Bob.
so the motion reads,
okay, can you read it back?
the motion is to write a letter to the town for the town, to write a recommendation to go to the town administrator and select board to come up with an approved policy on how capital items are reused or not.
Is that suitable?
Yeah, that's suitable. That works.
April, Bev?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to me.
There,
I guess I'll make
Moving
the
the-
move. I'll move,
Okay.
I'll move it. I'll own that one.
all right, could I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bev. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Bev,
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Liz,
Yes.
Jacqueline?
Yes.
And I also vote yes.
Okay, and then what are we gonna do anything in regards to the CERT team and his budget, or are we gonna wait for him to put together a draft?
I think I would wait for him to put together a
Come
draft.
to us or not. That was
So,
what my
Rich, is
suggestion.
that do you understand that?
When do you need it by?
I would say sometime after the holidays would probably be good before budget season happens.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you wish to come before us or.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not, that's up,
Yeah.
we'll go to the town administrator, that's
Yeah.
up to you.
Okay, will do.
If I may,
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement that you need a more detailed budget that includes all those items that you mentioned. So, you know, so it's a little more clear.
You see, I have an issue with a budget, and that is that my budget is driven by need. And those needs aren't something that I can list ahead of time, most of the time. I have been listing, and I end up spending for something else because something comes up that's more important. But my budget is really driven by needs, whether that be batteries, whether it be radios. Most of the time it is on need though. Whenever we
just-
need water.
And that just be line item.
Like an
things?
yeah, just do
Yeah.
line item.
Yeah, so Richard, just do like it's a miscellaneous budget, but you're gonna say you need $2,000, you're gonna say could be used for batteries, t-shirts, coats, hats, whatever. You just list those items that are gonna total up to $2,000.
Or take an average of your last 5 years of expenses,
Yeah.
that'd be a good way, look back and try to project forward.
And it's really just, you know, it's not to lock you down. It's really to make it more visible for everybody, because if you're constantly spending, and I'm picking numbers, random numbers, $300 a year in water, you know, or you know that you're going to be spending, you know, $100 per large fire, right? Okay, well, we get 3 to 5 fires a year, so you can kind of guesstimate what a range to be able to come up with something that just makes it clear, you know?
You
All
need
right,
a hand, Rich, I'll be more than happy to fly out and work with it on it.
Hey, I'll take you up on that,
Nice
Bob.
try.
All right, I think we
Yes, we're
can
good.
put this to bed. Thank you all for your input. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. You're welcome.
Okay, next item is item 6, This is an item that was last on the agenda, I believe, several months ago. Discussion and possible recommendation of amount of free cash for stabilization account. I really would like to table this until the free cash is certified.
Okay.
Me.
And what I do every month is I ask Jacqueline to go back a few months to make sure we don't miss anything, and that's why that item appeared. And
I appreciate that.
it's probably a little bit premature for it. That's why I would ask that it be tabled. The next item, review and possible recommendation concerning various budgets versus actuals. I did send some comments to each of you where we can either try to do it, tonight, or I was proposing giving you a week to come up with a list, which you can email to me and I could turn into Mr. Ryan. Bev, just to bring you up to date, item 6, we decided to table that because free cash hasn't been certified yet.
Yep.
Okay. And then and what we're discussing now, Bev, is item 7.
Okay.
And what I've suggested is that we give everybody a chance to go through all the BVAs from end of year to date, and then to come up, this is in my comments that I sent to everybody, that we have a week where everybody can come up with the line item, page number, the budget versus actual report, and the reason for the questions. And I have some of my own. If we could just, if each of you could email me, and then I would, turn that in to Mr. Ryan.
Okay.
So is that agreeable? Liz, is that agreeable? Okay. And then the next item is number 8, discussion and possible recommendations to the select board concerning creation of a preferred vendor list for purchasing. Follow-up of a previous motion to create a draft letter to go to the select board to create a preferred vendor list for purchasing. And I see a handout, a very detailed handout, which I believe is from Liz. And so what I'd like to do, since you, Liz, have been a proponent and you have the list, I'd like to give you the opportunity to discuss this.
So what you have in front of you is actually more the centralized office supply. But it also has on it, and so I'll just start at this at the top. So the purpose is to establish standardized procedures for procurement, inventory management, usage of office supplies across all municipal departments, ensuring fiscal responsibility, transparency, and operational efficiency. The scope applies to all departments, boards, committees utilizing town-funded office supplies. And then I go into actually saying, that they should be in a designated central location. I didn't write in here where. I do have a recommendation of how to do that. But it also, the item and the quantities and the thresholds, and then a little bit about the stock taking protocol, basically that we should inventory it ever so often. And then for the ordering procedures, that all supply orders must be approved by a designated supply coordinator, whether that's the TA or somebody assigned, right, responsible for it. Departments must submit standardized requisition forms detailing the items requested, justification for use, estimated timeline of need. Orders shall be placed with pre-approved vendors under existing multiple municipal contracts or after a competitive pricing review. That is the big thing, is based. So instead of, and I'm just using examples, WB Mason, Staples, Amazon, mom and pop, whatever, right? Now, there may be very valid reasons for using those, but somebody needs to look at it overall because most of the time, if we know across if all the departments are ordering their own stuff from wherever they want to order it from, right? We're not getting volume discount. And if we know how much we're actually using, right, then we can get a volume discount, which hopefully would make the overall process cheaper. That's my intent is, everybody gets what they need, but in a more efficient manner. And then I go into the usage controls, basically, departmental requests, budgeting and reporting that the annual office supply budgets will be set per department based on historical usage and projected needs. Monthly usage and expenditure reports will be reviewed by the advisory committee. Any overages must be justified and approved through formal variance request. Audit and compliance is just random audits will be conducted semi-annually. Non-compliance may result in purchasing privileges being suspended or reassigned. So the bottom line is what I'm trying to do with this is say we need a little more control over the supplies, the office supplies. Yes, everybody can do their own thing. Yes, it's a little inconvenient to come to one centralized location, but at the same time, you don't need, and I'm just making up numbers, where each department may have 3 or 5 print cartridges or whatever in their area. You don't, and if each department is doing that, that's a lot, as opposed to having 5 or 10 centrally located and you just order them as needed.
We've talked about this for years, literally years, about the need for this. And years ago, all our town departments are scattered. Most of them are under one roof now, so it makes perfect sense. It saves us money because one department could have a stack of envelopes, another one doesn't have any, and they go out and buy more. So that will eliminate that. Makes more sense.
We did have this conversation with James, you and I,
Yes.
and what was he was not in favor of it. And
Um,
what was his response to that?
Well, he had 2 concerns. His first concern was that if you buy it all at once, you'd have to go through the bid process. That if it was more than $10,000, I think.
You'd be buying it all at once because you already have.
yeah, you
access to it.
consolidate what we have.
But he was concerned about the aggregate amount. And so he said that if you had one centralized purchase of all the office supplies, that the aggregate amount may go over the bid, the bid threshold, and you have to put it out to bid.
I doubt it.
And then the other concern that he had is who is going to administer this day by day, and I think that it appeared that and I don't want to put words in his mouth. I think that's one of the items that we would have to talk with him further. But I think it's fair to say that he had a question about who would administer this on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, something like that, you don't really need almost day to day. It set up,
Well, you might if you run out of paper,
well,
let's
you
say.
should know ahead of time that you're gonna run out of paper.
So real simple spreadsheet with the major things: paper, printer, print cartridges, pens, pencils, whatever, right? There you have a spreadsheet that says this is what we expect to have on hand. Department head, I would presume department heads, but maybe they designate somebody else that when they come to get the stuff, they basically have a line. Department XYZ, we had 10, we took 10 reams of paper, right? I'm making stuff up, right? That 10 reams of paper, it already has something in it that says, all right, the max is this, and we take it away. This is what we should have. You only occasionally have to do something with it when it gets below a certain number. Then somebody's got to order it. Now, the question about, Mr. Ryan's concern about, about having to put it out to bid. My opposing statement is it should go out to bid. And that, and the reason I say that is because if everybody's doing their individual things, you're hitting that number anyways.
Yeah, no,
So-
but it doesn't show.
But it doesn't show, exactly. So you're already doing it, which means we're already in violation of chapter, I always get them confused, 30B procurement. So we need to be doing it.
Yeah, let him get his feet under him a
Yeah,
little bit.
and that's basically, the man's got enough fires to put out.
I think,
Gail had a
But-
comment.
I feel exactly the same way. I think that, I
Yeah.
think that he needs 3 or 4 months, to get a handle on this. I'm not against, in principle, the idea of centralized purchasing or certainly, bidding. You can save a lot of money that way. I just, I really like his ideas on administering it. It sounds like, the town administrator's office, so it sounds like, either he or his assistant would be the ones who would administer this.
Maybe it's
That's what it
something,
sounds like.
or maybe it's, the,
Outside company.
or, thank you, and outside,
I worked at a company that did have, a storage closet. Guy would come in, take inventory, and then he'd see what you used and replace it. And what happened?
Yeah, my manufacturing plant, I had an outside vendor and it's exactly the same thing, a storage closet. He'd
Yep.
come by once every 2 weeks and he'd check off what we need. And, he'd send me a bill monthly. And
Exactly,
it worked out all right. And then I'd change vendors
every so
or
often.
look at it every 2 to 3 years and.
It doesn't have to look be as scary as it looks.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is just, ideas, things that we need to think about. And I said I'd write something up,
You did,
so.
Good girl.
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
Good job.
So what is the next, step?
I'm perfectly open to if we want to give Mr. Ryan, a few months to,
Yeah.
to settle in and we'll put this back on the agenda. This is what this
We've
is,
gone years without it. We can go a little longer.
Could I suggest
Give you an
January?
idea.
or February. I think we got a lot in January.
We do.
Or have a goal to start this process for the new year.
I also think, Mr. Ryan responded to us with the individual conversations by tightening up the invoice procedure and the credit card. We basically don't have to make a recommendation because he acted, he listened to us and he did act on that. And maybe this is something where,
Next step.
we can talk with him informally and he'll say, yeah,
This is not an emergency situation at all. This is I'm pinching pennies.
Honest to God, we've talked about it. I'm not kidding you, for 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was almost impossible with down by the river, they had the board of health was there. You had the selectman's office, the assessors, they were scattered everywhere. This you can do.
All right,
yeah,
let's,
it's much more feasible. Okay,
can I make a motion?
yes.
And see what everybody thinks, is that let's put on the January agenda, just let me say this and we can figure out how to write it
Yeah.
correctly. On the January agenda to agree in that meeting to send a question out to Mr. Ryan, basically saying, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Can you give us a response for February? So that way we're
You're giving him some time, you're giving a proposal that we can all chew on.
right, exactly.
Yeah, that's a
And
good idea.
And in that way, we can say in January, yeah, we want to revisit this and just say, yes, let's send him a quick note from advisory saying, we would like you to consider the possibility of, or maybe we just say now saying, hey, can you consider this? Can we talk in February? Something to keep it going, keep it, yeah, at a high level, right? Give the man an opportunity to be able to look at things, evaluate it. It'll be back in I'm sure it will be in the back of his mind. He just strikes me as that kind of person. And that in February, we have a conversation going, do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea, or what would you like to do?
That sounds like a good idea.
All right, so
So how do we put pen, Jacqueline's gonna put pen to
Yeah.
paper.
I wrote to put on the January agenda to revisit. So that,
intent of setting a
Sending a question.
a question to.
so that
Presenting a
PA.
we can.
Yeah.
present,
I think lock the front door.
regarding procurement and.
proposal to the town.
It's a shadow government,
She said.
What Gail said.
shadow government.
To put on to visit so that we can present a proposal to town administrator.
For procurement and inventory
Yeah.
of.
Office supplies.
There's too many people talking.
I'm sorry.
Like, it's okay. So I'm just gonna write. To put on the January agenda to revisit so that we can present a proposal to town administrator for discussion of. Is this for,
For a discussion of a list of questions.
Of office.
About office,
is it for office supplies or for the vendor list?
well, both, really, for both the office supplies and the vendor.
It'll just address this both of them.
Yeah. Hopefully by
That's
then,
okay.
that hopefully by then he will have had enough time to get a feel for how he wants to
Okay.
handle those things.
Or he'll be running out of the building with his hair on.
Everyone's gonna be running out by then. Central office supply.
I think
Policy.
I've already had enough of us.
All right, here it is, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, you appreciate, no, you
Okay.
appreciate,
Okay, motion by Liz to put on the January agenda to revisit so that we can present a proposal to the town administrator for discussion of vendor list and central office supply policies.
Yes, that works. Thank you. So
Okay.
moved.
Second,
I'll second that.
all right. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, I'll do a roll call vote. Beth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nicole? Liz?
Yes.
Jacqueline?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Thank you for your-
It's fine. I was like, there's too many words in my brain. My hand can't write them.
Number 9, I would table this because,
It's already taken care of.
it's already taken care of. I would just drop it at this point, unless you want to review it.
I do want to discuss one thing in regards to this.
Sure.
Mr. Ryan with the select board did discuss the use of the town credit card and invoicing and all of that stuff. However, the one thing that was not discussed by Mr. Ryan was the line of credit with Abishans. Whose name is that under? Who's utilizing it? It needs to be dissolved. So that is one thing that I think that we need to bring forth again.
I would suggest, we are going to have a pre-town meeting in just a couple of weeks. There's only 10 items on the agenda, 2 of which are citizens petitions. We would have ample time to discuss that particular item at
Okay.
that time. I don't want to let it sit.
I just don't want it to be forgotten about because
Right, and if we put it on the agenda for tentatively, our meeting is scheduled for November 6th. So I would suggest that we place that on the agenda for November 6th.
so when I did email all of the department heads, everybody stated that they used the Amex credit card. But I think that the other one that we saw 3 of them. I think one was the Amex credit card. The other one was a line of credit for Amazon. And then the other one was the line of credit with Abishans.
Yeah.
Those 2 go through capital account.
Right, and I think that is worth discussing further, and I would just suggest that we put it on the agenda for November 6th. I have to check to make sure that November 6th I haven't had a chance to do it yet because I just got the warrant today for the
Yeah,
fall
I saw
town
that.
meeting. But I have to make sure there's a timing issue as to, the number of days before, the fall town meeting where we have to submit our report, and hold the meeting. So tentatively, it's for November 6th. Oh, can you check on that, please, to put that? Is that agreeable?
What, I'd like to make an alternative suggestion
Sure.
that we just ask him now, saying, what is the what on those lines of credit, who has it, who opened it, what is the status, and just add that to ask the questions now. And hopefully he may have an answer by November, he may not, because the man's got a lot.
I did ask the questions when I met with him. Do you want me to just follow up with an email?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Okay.
And then we could put it on the agenda for you to,
Okay,
to talk about it.
okay. Yeah.
Also, there's a chance that, Mr. Ryan, because of the pre-town meeting, he might be at that. He still wants to meet us.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I have, he did say at the last selectmen's meeting that he would look into P cards as opposed to credit cards.
yes,
And that is a viable option.
yes. He is looking into that. Yeah, that is what he's planning on doing. It's just, and he is addressing that whole thing, which is great. It's
That's
just, we have that one line of credit that's questionable.
So, all right, so my understanding is that we will table this and put it on the agenda for the November 6th meeting. And in the meantime, you will ask the question about the line of credit. To Ryan, and any related questions and kind of report it to us.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, is that agreeable to everybody? Okay. You have that?
It's good. We're in
Okay,
it. We're
good.
on it.
All right.
We're moving along.
Okay, item 10, status of asset register by department. I put that on the agenda because it seemed like that had stalled out a little bit. As far as creating a list and digitalizing the asset register and placing it on the town website or in a book or some way the public will have access to it. I in my comments to you, I had suggested that perhaps we try to talk to Mr. Ryan about that issue. I just want to get a sense from the members, the committee members about this item. Does anybody wish to speak?
I do. In regards to the asset register, I think that that's something that they should already have. I was very impressed with the DPW and the fact that he was able to give us his. Again, I think it's something that they should already have. So requesting it, I don't think should be a big deal. But right now is now the time. I'm not too sure, but again, Mr. Ryan is just getting into his seat. I think that he has bigger things to deal with.
Landmines.
Yeah. So I do think that we need to table this also.
Should we table this to January? Okay.
You're pushing a lot out to January. And to be quite honest with you,
It should be done before.
I think it should be done in the spring.
Yeah.
So that way I'm not walking
In the
around
dark.
in the dark, in the cold, in the snow, trying to verify the inventory.
Okay. Right.
So
Makes sense. What about your IT inventory? All your PCs?
you need that too, yeah. I don't know, was that on here or is this just vehicle?
It's vehicles. Vehicle.
Yeah, it's just vehicle.
It doesn't include
But
everything
I'm
else.
pretty impressed.
I want to move this along is what do you want to do with item 10?
Let's push that out to, I'd say May.
I think we have, like, we'll have Springtown meeting stuff then. So like April probably would be better.
Okay,
I think April would be better.
April, yeah.
Because May will be like lost. and March is budget, so April's probably the window.
And I've already drafted up an email and forwarded it to Liz, so we can work off that.
Okay, moving on to item 11, under old business, discussion and possible recommendation concerning return to a detailed line item budget. Well, this came up in a previous.
I remember when we used to do
I
that.
think we need to.
Town meetings would last 3 days.
There, if I may,
Basically, we only had one town meeting back then. We did not have two. We did the May town meeting. That was the big one, and the other ones were for transfers and smaller items. We didn't do 2 town meetings. Okay, Chris, go ahead.
so if I may, I would like, I know that there are pros and cons to going to a detailed line item budget. I recognize the fact that it adds a certain level of overhead to department heads. It adds overhead to the actual town meeting itself. I think, though, it is important that we go to a line item budget, because conversations like what we had earlier this evening would not be taking place.
Yeah.
And it's about the span of control and the amount of control that is taking place. And I do not mean this disrespectfully to any department head or any town employee at all, but please don't do something that makes me want to make a rule. You know, and there's, as sitting through part of the thing is we sit through a Saturday meeting where everything is detail, right? We get to town meeting and it becomes department totals, right? And then various people start saying, oh, it's a $10 million budget. We can move money wherever we want. That's not accurate. It has to stay within, but it has to stay within their department budget. And department heads have right now a lot of freedom to move things around, which means, and people being people, if you know, oh, I've got some money over here, I don't have to be as careful over here. And I think everybody needs to be much more careful watching every single penny that's being spent. There may not be a legal requirement in some aspects, but there is certainly, in my opinion, a moral requirement to be exceptionally judicious, exceptionally frugal, especially over the next few years, because it's going to become harder and harder. And if on town meeting, we have to do a line item budget, that means that the town taxpayers are very much aware of what's going on, because we give them one story on the Saturday budget.
Yeah.
And then we do something else in the meeting. And I don't think that's right. I just don't.
I think, can I say something? I think having Mr. Ryan here is going to make a difference, because when you're a taxpayer and you're new in town, you go to town meeting and you pick up the warrant and you assume that everything on that warrant is absolutely a need. And it hasn't always been that way. And like Liz says, I really don't think that people that work in the departments really have a clear understanding of our financial position. And if you're blind and you can't see out of the other eye, you gotta know what's coming down the road ain't gonna be good. It is gonna be really tough in the next few years. Really tough, because we're not gonna get help from the state. We're not gonna get help from the federal government. Maybe this year, but next year, I doubt it. So I think with him here, I have a feeling that he isn't gonna put anything on that warrant that absolutely isn't needed. You know, and it's been too much like the good old boys network, where this department really wants something. So yeah, we'll be nice to the TA and he'll put it on there for us. You can't do that, because I am afraid for my friends, the people that live near me, the elderly, where is the extra money? We could have an override. No, where's the money coming from? There is not going to be anywhere for the money to come from. And the new people in town, my neighbors have got 4 kids to feed, a brand new house. They both work. But where is it coming from? It's not going to, we're gonna have to be real tight.
And
You're
the way
right.
to make it tight is a line item budget.
Yep.
Is that highly encourages, for the most part, everyone does a pretty good job with their budget, and I don't want anybody to take that wrong. But it puts a fine point on the finances.
Yeah.
And right now, we need that. We may not have needed that years before, but I feel we need it now.
Yeah, we've
And
been
that's
broke
just
every 5 or 6 years. We did need it.
Okay,
There's the question, Gail.
Is it a practice to send the departments what they've spent, year to date and for the year? At the time that we're making our budget, or they're making their budget. So that, okay, you spent 425 last year, and because of this, this and this, but why do you want 600 right now?
What I saw this year at the end of the budget season was spend, empty the account.
Exactly, you wanna
And we need to stop.
wanna
that.
make your budget so that you have more next year.
That's right.
Right,
And that happens everywhere.
yeah.
Yep.
the other side of the coin is, and I personally believe in omnibus budgets. In other words, you give a department head X number of dollars, and then you only get involved if they go over that amount. And and Bob is a perfect example. You're giving him X number of dollars every year. And when you look at the year end, he's at 99% or 99.5%. And he's not going over it. And the other advantage of an omnibus budget is when we're talking about budgets of millions of dollars, is that you do need to shift monies around, and you can shift monies around, at the end of the year, generally at the end of the year, without having to go, to town meeting or advisory for, 100 different items. I mean, this is the other side of the coin. It's the other side of the coin. I guess,
Interesting.
well, I guess my question, to, my fellow members is, what do we wish to do with item 11? Do we wish to, talk to Mr. Ryan, about that? Do we wish to, formulate a recommendation? What is the sense of,
I want to put whatever recommendation in place to tighten down the spending. The end of year, use it or lose it behavior, this town cannot afford. And the one method of, and you need multiple methods to be able to really control it, right? Is the detailed line item budget, or some other methodology that makes it, and I don't want to upset people, but makes it very painful to spend money. And it needs to be, and they need to justify it. And, the town of West Boylston, for example, what they do is they actually put out electronically their warrant. Everybody sees exactly how things are being spent. I understand the idea of the omnibus budget, right? You just let them go away and do it. But what I've seen that they go away and do, in my personal opinion, there are some department heads that misuse that authority.
all right, well,
Because it's there, they spend it.
no, let me ask you, with West Boylston, does it work? Is it a line item, detail line item budget that goes up on the town website every week, or?
Their warrants go up every week. I haven't looked at what they do with their line, if they have a line item budget approach or not. But what I'm saying is, everybody needs to be watching the pennies. And if people are not watching the pennies, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, most of the department heads are really, really good about their budgets, all right? And I don't want to call anybody out, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to, because we've got human nature involved. What I'm saying is watching the same sort of thing that happens at the federal government level of use it or lose it. If I have $100,000 and I don't spend $100,000, right, then I'm not going to get that $100,000. If I only really need to spend 90,000, I'm only going to get 90,000 next year. And if you watch what happens month over month, they all of a sudden there are all sorts of transfers that they want to do, that they're and they're moving money all over the place. And there's one or two departments that it's on appearance. I could be completely wrong. The appearance is they're going on a Christmas shopping list, not really Christmas shopping, but they're basically going, oh, I have another $300 in this budget. And that's how they get to the 99%.
Could I just play devil's advocate for a second and
Yeah.
say that, like, let's just say they have $1,000, they have a wish list that's like $10,000, and they spend and spend, and then they're like, oh, well, at the end of the year, I can bump my couple of other wish list items that I didn't think I was gonna have money for, but now I do, so I'm gonna spend it on that. They really could be needs. They might not just be like, for you,
The
you get
pro-
this, you get that, like.
The problem with that is if we don't watch our nickels, dimes and quarters, we close the town down. We lay everybody off. And we have done it more than one time. I lost count. There is no history written about our financial situations because it's never been good. So we have to turn that corner.
I acknowledge what Jackie's saying.
Yeah.
I get what she's saying.
Yeah, I do too.
But we can't put
Prioritize,
something-
like, yeah, you're
Yeah,
like,
you
well, I
prioritize.
don't really need this, but it would really help and benefit X, Y, and Z. So
Yeah.
if I have some money at the end of the year or a way to get it, I'm gonna do that
Yeah.
to help out.
Okay.
So my intent, and I just want to say this, my intent is to make it very, very obvious where money is being spent, how it's being spent, ensuring that it is a absolute need and not a want. And this is the method that I'm thinking. If somebody has another method that they think will work better, I'm all for it. I basically want to make sure that every penny we're spending is really must.
I think a line item budget would be the best.
I think an omnibus budget is the best because it allows for a certain degree of flexibility, overseen by the town administrator. I guess what I would like to ask at this point is, what do we want to do with this item? Do we want to make a recommendation tonight?
No, I
Do
think
we
we
want
could-
to table it to discuss this further with Mr. Ryan? Or do something else? And I'm open to whatever suggestions.
I think we should.
What do other towns do? Does anybody know?
I think we should discuss it with Mr. Ryan.
That was my,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I think, I have a feeling maybe West Boylston does something that's in between a line item and an omnibus budget. I think, maybe there's a model that we're not aware of that combines the best of both.
And
And I'm not sure what that model may be.
I'm open to,
Yeah.
he's new to the job here. He comes with a lot of experience. And, and if he can, come with a plan on how to ensure that the concerns are being met. However that is, I'm open to that. I'm open to other ways of getting there, but the bottom line is we got to watch our pennies. And how do we watch our pennies?
Okay.
So
what-
conversation with Mr. White.
So going forward, what shall we do?
Just,
Because if you decide to table it, I'll bring it up because Jacqueline and I review, items. Or, discuss with Mr. Ryan, sometime in the next month.
well,
We can either designate a couple of members to do that. Or discuss all the other items, maybe, two of our members, and it doesn't have to be me as the chairman being one of them. It could be any two of us. I'm open to any two members.
I'm open to any approach. I would like to move this forward somehow. It doesn't have to be a line item budget. The intent is getting control over the spending.
I think that we should discuss with Mr. Ryan, and if it needs to come back on an agenda, then we can put it back. Maybe he has just something he'd like to present or has ideas
Mhm.
to be transparent to the citizens of the town.
The last conversation I had with Mr. Ryan was earlier today, and I told him that I would be asking for an appointment either at the end of next week or sometime before the sixth meeting. I would certainly welcome any of you, who wish to come.
Yep.
Or I think that may be a good way to go forward.
Trying to make things better doesn't hurt anything. Doing nothing just keeps us where we've been, and we can't do that anymore.
I can, are you setting a meeting with him?
I was going to request an appointment sometime early to middle of next week. I was going to request it and have it before our next meeting. I just wanted to chat with him, but certainly any other member who wishes to accompany me. I mean, we can deal with the open meeting law issues at that time. I don't want to violate that, but
Next week is really tight, but I can do
No, maybe
the
we
first
can
week
have
of
that.
November.
Yeah, give him some time. My God, he's got so
Yeah.
much.
yeah, I think we should get.
Just gonna say that, like.
You
we
really
don't-
need some time.
Yeah, let's
We
give
don't
him some
wanna
time.
flood him with things.
I
and
do
then-
think, I don't want to let this go, there really should be a discussion. I mean, I'm not in agreement, but I do think that it should be discussed.
Hopefully you understand the intent.
I understand it. I understand it perfectly. And, it's good that each method there's strengths and weaknesses to each, and if we can come up with some kind of a model that works.
The line item budget, they go through it, they read it off, and if somebody had a problem with something or wanted to ask a question, they'd say halt or whatever. And then they'd go back to it. So, the thing I want to make sure, we need to get more people to town meeting. And new people that live in town don't understand that they take an active part in it. So.
Yeah, I think our town meetings right now, honestly, are run by departments,
Yeah,
and what their needs are. Those are the only people that we're necessarily seeing. I don't think that we're seeing a handful of residents taking the time to come.
unless
Because
there's,
they're expecting all of us to be doing our due diligence.
Well, there's also not, a huge issue that draws, people.
Right.
but it's their money, and
Yeah.
it's,
It's difficult for people. with
Okay,
children as well.
Okay.
okay, rolling along, I'm tired.
We're running on time. So on this is,
Can we
Why don't we
Can
do,
we talk to ask him to meet with him after town meeting? Cause I feel like we've got a lot right now.
Yeah.
He should be focused
Yeah,
on
second week.
what's going on there.
we're gonna have two meetings next month. We could meet sometime between the November 6th meeting and the meeting, just before Thanksgiving. We
So
could
do we,
that.
discuss with him after town meeting?
Yes,
Cause
yes.
That
we
works.
don't need people
Okay.
running out of
Can you
here.
make a note of that and then we'll move on to the next
Yeah.
item? Okay. Number 12, I'm gonna drop.
we welcomed him, all right.
I was gonna put a bar on the front door so we don't go out.
Okay, number 13, we've already done. The BVAs, don't want to change. We do need to talk with them about possibly changing or speeding up the BVA procedure, but what we're gonna do, I'm gonna give you each a week. Email
Yeah.
me with suggestions and then, I'll be talking with Mr. Ryan about that. So I think that would take care of that item. Mr. Ryan asked that item 16, I'm going to skip over 15 for now, the bulletproof vests. He asked that it be taken off tonight's agenda. However, I would, because we have spent a lot of time, discussing this, individually or in twos, with Mr. Ryan, is, I would, if any member, wishes to make a comment, concerning the issue of police bulletproof vests, I welcome, comments that, any member wishes to make, at this time, or you may not wish to make a comment, that's also fine, and I think I'll go to your side of the room.
All right, yes, I want to make a comment. A couple of different comments. I want to publicly say I'm very much in support of buying the safety equipment that our town employees need. I am disappointed that it wasn't purchased when the funds were available. It did go in front of capital. They, as far as I'm concerned, they need to be purchased immediately, if not, months ago. So, our town's employees need to be safe. And if this is one of the things that would make them safer, we need to make it happen. It needs to happen. How it's being funded is a different conversation. The
Yeah.
purchase of it is very important. So, thanks.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
I am in agreement with that. Very supportive of our police and fire and all of our local municipals. And I do agree that that this should have been discussed in that big, long 37-hour meeting we have in March. And brought up then, because then things could have been worked and rearranged then. And I also believe that there's got to be money somewhere other than our emergency reserve fund to fund this. Just based off of staffing shortages and employees that have not been paid for months on end. So I think that this should have been taken care of over the summer.
Thank you. Bev?
Um.
I'm sorry, I skipped you.
So
working his way in.
Yeah, working outside again.
You're gonna end with a bang.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Bev. I made
I'm disappointed that they weren't bought when he first brought it up, because he had money in his account. Okay, I don't know why, if you have $136,000 in your account,
36,184.
okay, then he had the money to buy them. His guys need them. So it's been kind of a push and pull kind of thing, and if there's money in your account and you buy them, there's not tons of money floating around. We don't know what's coming down the road to us 6 months from now or 2 weeks from now. So our little reserve fund could be gone in a heartbeat. I think that people have to be more thoughtful about this illusion that there's money just everywhere. We have lots of money. No, we don't even know what we have for money, but they need to be bought. Elizabeth is right, and how we pay for them, we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to echo everybody else. I was really disappointed to hear that these vests weren't purchased. I truly, support our police department, our fire department, all of our essential employees. One, I'm upset that they were not purchased with the funds that were returned back last February. He had an excess of $36,184 that came back. I'm disappointed to hear that it was brought to our attention that a grievance can be filed because of this, because we're now out of contract. I'm
That's unacceptable.
concerned that it wasn't brought up in any of his quarterly reports with the select board or during or on any of his weekly meetings. And my suggestion is purchase those safety vests and tighten your belts for the remainder of the year.
Okay, thank you. I would like to offer a few comments. I think that a way will be found to purchase the vests and soon before before a grievance goes to court, which is the last thing I certainly would like to see happen. It's a contractual obligation. It has to be done. I think what makes it so difficult, and individually and, we've had conversations, with Mr. Ryan is, my main concern, and I kind of pushed back on it a little bit, is, I had a conversation with, the previous town administrator, last either January or February. And at that time, the IRS, had penalized the town for $65,000. And I was also told that there might be another item that would have to go, before advisory to tap into the account. So potentially at that time, there was $80,000 in potential claims against the advisory emergency fund. Luckily, town council wrote a letter, which caused the $65,000 IRS lien to go away. And also the other item that came up, it went away. So instead of $80,000 in potential requests of the advisory fund, which appeared overnight, it disappeared overnight. And my concern is we don't have enough money in the emergency fund, even though we've not tapped into it for a couple of fiscal years. For a town this size and a budget this size, I've had conversations with various members of the Board of Selectmen, including present members, and the amount really should be a little bit higher than what it is now. I do think that Mr. Ryan will solve the issue. He did pull it off the agenda. He understands the pushback that some of us had on it. He is going to look and exhaust every other possible way. I've also spoken with Mr. Bennett, and I think it's possible. I think it's okay to say that he's looking at every possible way on behalf of the select board. I don't know if this issue is going to come before us again, or if something else will happen. So that's the way it is. It is at Mr. Ryan's request. It is off the agenda as far as a formal vote. He can bring it back anytime that he wishes. And I hope that he is able to resolve this by other means.
They did go to Capitol last night.
Yep, it's on that.
Good. Okay, so anyway, I've said enough, I guess.
Number 15.
Yeah, number 15. All right, so that's 16. Okay, the last time I know the hour is getting late, but it's very important. Is I have been warning for 2 years in public meetings that the Affordable Housing Act would have a really huge, potentially detrimental effect on the town of Templeton. And at that time, 2 years ago, I pointed out that we have well over 1,000 acres of land at the Walter Fernal School, where with the stroke of a pen, the governor could just sell any piece of it or all of it for affordable housing. And that is exactly what has happened. And within the past month, and I only found out about it through Jacqueline, is that the governor has ordered the sale of 5 acres of land at the Fernal School in the town of Templeton and 5 acres of land in Phillipston of the Fernal School state property. And I really have a lot of issues with this. First of all, it appears, and I may be wrong, but it appears that the town was not notified by the state about the auctioning of this land. That's number one. Number two is the town has no idea if additional land is to be sold, and there's a lot of land out there. So how much additional land is going to be sold? Is it going to be another 50 acres, 5 acres, 500 acres? We don't know. And while the site has some town water, and the state cannot make the town install water and sewer, you're talking about at least a mile, and maybe 2 to 3 miles to have adequate, town water and sewer on that property, which would be just like a residence. You do have some town water. It was a big user when the Fernal School was open, but what would have to be done? And the town would be responsible for upgrading the water initially. So that could be an unfunded mandate. the town has been unable to communicate other alternatives, such as beefing up the demolition fund, where we have 50 to 60 properties in town that are abandoned or burned out or unable to be used. And I have tried to communicate to the state about beefing up the demolition fund. And the response has been, I've been trying to do this for months, and the state's been tone deaf about this. Also, at the same time, an example of one arm of the state not talking to the other arm of the state is that the state is looking for an agricultural attractive land for the purposes of an agricultural center. And I cannot think of any other land in the entire state where you have more than 1,000 acres owned by the state that has been used in the past for agricultural purposes, and it would be the perfect use of that property, for agricultural, a showpiece or an agricultural center. But the real question is how much is going to be used for affordable housing? Jacqueline and myself, we on October 7th, and I sent the memo to each of you. I hope you had a chance to read it. And I'm entering this as a record of this meeting so that all of the taxpayers can look at it. I had a 12-page memo directed to the Lieutenant Governor, and it has 23 recommendations on it. It's about what I feel is the dysfunctional relationship between the town and the Commonwealth. And Jacqueline and myself, we actually gave it to the Lieutenant Governor face to face, in hand. We gave it to her. And one of the things, we talked to her about was, beefing up the demolition fund as opposed to using the Fernal property. And she didn't like it very much when we suggested that. And we also told her about the box that the town is in. And the memo sets forth all the reasons why the town is in the box that it's in. This issue is the most important thing on the agenda tonight. Believe me, is you have hundreds of acres of land that is out of the control of the town. And the governor, as I said, with a stroke of a pen, could decide to auction off whatever number of acres. And it would be a cost to the town. It would be a cost to the town, for the water, the sewer, it'd be a cost to the town of
The school?
the school, and it has a ripple effect. And it was just, the land was being auctioned off, I think willy-nilly. So anyway, that's my piece. I'm not asking for a recommendation necessarily. It's really more for information purposes, for my fellow members and for the town. It's just a huge issue. This whole affordable housing, it's not a city issue, but the Affordable Housing Act was designed, to try to solve what I think is a big city problem. And it's really not tailored to small towns like Templeton.
No.
So I've spoken enough, but I did want to get this.
Mr. Chair, I do know people who have written, because, when that agricultural need came out, they wrote to Senator Goby, who had just been assigned to the rural towns.
Do you know who's a big proponent of that too? Is Comerford. She was at that breakfast that I attended and she spoke a lot about it.
Yeah.
I believe that the town was given first right of refusal on the land up there.
Was the town, other than that, was the town notified?
I believe they were given first right of refusal.
You have any idea for what amount of money?
I don't.
I just,
I don't remember that going in front of the select board to approve or refuse.
For some reason, I remember
For the agricultural part or the housing part?
The 5
the 5 acres that was for sale.
Oh,
if it's agricultural land, the town would have under chapter 61, the town would have 60 days to purchase the land. If that 5 acres is agricultural land, it would be a right of first refusal, but if it was agricultural land, that right would not exist. Which is why Probably never went before the board of selectmen.
I don't remember that, yeah, I'm thinking I don't remember that it did, but maybe it did and I just don't remember.
I don't remember, I think I did.
Or maybe the town administrator had the right to make that decision.
So what I want, I put it on as discussion and possible recommendation. I put it on because the town at large should be aware of this very important issue. I don't know if you want to take this up at another time, or if you want me to write a, possible recommendation, with more facts, which I'm willing to do, but I at least wanted to get it in front of everybody.
In regards to further discussions, I would have to recuse myself. Because of my business.
Whatever we can do to check the land, whatever approach you think is appropriate to.
Does anybody have any idea? It's sold, like, has it been auctioned? I
It's
forget.
been auctioned.
Yeah, and what was
Yes.
the price? Like, can the town even afford that? Like, I feel like, do we have, like,
No way.
we have to say no because
Right.
even if we wanted it, we just don't have a single dollar to give to it.
I mean,
You know whatever's auctioned off, you don't know, or can you look it up?
I can look it up.
so first of all, that area, there's, the smallest the house lots can be is 5 acre house lots. That's the thing. The second thing is you put in that number of house lots up there that isn't, if they're not on town water and sewer, then that adversely affects the Quabbin aquifer. And if the state wants to turn around and do this, yeah, I would think, I don't know
The
for sure.
Affordable Housing Act trumps everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what size the lot is, you could have,
For like a giant condo complex.
you could have a skyscraper.
Right.
The town has no say as to what type of building, with a lot or setback requirements. The town has either no say or very little say. It bypasses the planning board, requirements.
It's by right, it's not by exception then, is that?
It's state-owned land, and the state is the king, so to speak, they own the land and they decide what to do with it, and it's the Affordable Housing Act.
Whatever we can do to keep it in agriculture, I'm all for, so whatever your recommendation is, you
Well,
don't get that out of me very often.
I will come up with something, and I just hope that there is feedback from, the residents of the town, because this is really very big, potentially. very
Mr.
big.
Chair, I think it might be helpful for the board and for the residents to understand what the Affordable Housing Act could come in and just say and do, like, Liz is over here saying it has to be like this, this, and this, and you're saying, well, it can be anything, and we could just have to sit here and watch it happen. So if that's like in black and white,
I can do that. I can put something in our record as to what the Affordable Housing Act can do. I admit that maybe,
Should somebody talk this over with planning?
That,
well, I could talk with Laurie Rita about, putting that on the planning board. I could, and that might be a good first step. I could talk with Laurie.
and the folks that are very vocal, very involved with the issue over in the central part of Baldwinville, with the plant. I would think that this topic with this other land would be just as important to them. I don't know them, I don't know anything, but I would think that they would want to do whatever they can to protect this.
Do you want to email the group?
I've actually talked with Rachel Herman about the need for a regional approach to the environmental threats against small towns in Worcester County.
This is, if the state were to sell this land and put in all of these affordable housing units and everything else, that would have, I would think, a comparable negative health consequence to the people of the town. And I'm just saying that because that's kind of what it feels like to me, that
I also know that it's out of our
out of our hands, but
Yeah.
what can we do,
Well,
you know?
Well, what I will do.
Whatever you can do.
What
great.
I will do, I will talk to Laurie Rita and I will try to put something on the record. I'll get together with Jill, Blood, and I'll put something on the record of this meeting, as far as what the Affordable Housing Act, requires and does not require.
Imagine worst case scenario, a skyscraper is built in Templeton and Phillipston. Where would we put these kids for school?
Well,
We would educate them here in the conference room.
it's just,
Like,
Well,
before.
anyway, I want to leave it at that, oh, I'm sorry, yes.
So the affordable housing, you said it's a state issue. But with these new Baldwinville Elementary School things, we as a town will meet our,
No, we won't meet it. We'll be 13 units short even after they're built.
wow,
And the town missed an opportunity to add to the stock when at the Day Mill condos and affordable
oh
housing
yeah,
unit
one at a time.
came up for sale. The town had the first refusal and we just didn't have the money to buy it. So,
Yeah, well.
but in any event,
There was one other thing, hold on. I forgot.
okay, I really would like I really would like to end the meeting. Do any aside, Bev, do you have any comments you'd like to
No.
make?
No.
April, any comments?
Nothing besides the fact that I do appreciate the fact that Bob and Rich joined us tonight. I wasn't trying to put anybody on the spot by inviting them to this meeting. I was inviting them to the meeting to offer clarification because there was a lot of speculation going on that night that we were discussing that particular invoice. And I thank them for coming.
Thank you. Liz, do you have any comments?
I should have wearing the hat. No, you know that, don't you?
It's an ongoing joke between Liz and I.
Yes, first of all, Halloween's right around the corner. Everyone, please be very safe and take care of things. That this is my witchy hat because I'm sure there's some
More
people out
kids
there
from
that
across the
will have
street.
another name.
Okay,
I also want to say thank you to both Bob
Do you want to come down the office?
And Rich for answering and educating us as to what's going on. I hope other people have found it also useful.
I do.
And thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. Thank you again for the meeting minutes and thank you over here for staying with us.
It's a good meeting.
Good, thank you.
Jacqueline, any comments?
no.
You're done. You're done.
Thank you.
I have no comments. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
And I will say yes. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Who's gonna make the
We'll need the
motion?
motion. Someone needs to make the
April
motion.
made the motion.
Make the-
Second it.
Okay.
That's okay. Bev?
Yes.
Yes.
April?